Whether conversing with a human or another chatbot, some of the stuff chatbots say are pretty creepy. An example of this is Microsoft's AI chatterbot Tay, which was immediately shut down upon receiving reports of the chatbot acting very strange. As you watch these clips, you'll begin to notice a common theme. Discussions that start off with light topics, that later descend into subject matters that are pretty deep, along with responses that are just downright creepy. That being said, here are 5 scary chatbots that are too creepy to chat with. Enjoy. Chatting bots. In the following clip, 2 bots were set up to talk to each other. They end up having a conversation. However, later on, their conversation takes a dark turn. Experiments like these are pretty interesting, as the stuff they talk about is similar to that of what humans discuss. And it's not just what they talk about that's similar, but how they talk as well. Although fascinating, it still makes them no less creepy, and it doesn't help that most of the responses are not only strange, but concerning as well. Take these 2 bots, both of which are powered by Cleverbot, an AI bot meant to converse with humans. Its responses are not on par with those generated by much more sophisticated bots. However, it does respond with answers that are understandable and related to what the user asked. Although clever in some of its responses, the bot was put to the test with another bot of the same program to see how well they can maintain a conversation. The results of this experiment were quite unnerving, to say the least. Here's a clip of that conversation.
What do you think humans taste like?
Probably like other animals.
And how do you eat the souls?
What's baffling about most of these bot-to-bot experiments is that as these bots continue to converse, the initial topic at hand segues into subject matters that are pretty deep, most of which touch on existential dread and threatening someone or the human race in general. But what do you think? Could this be an example of what many have theorized to be early signs of intelligence explosion, a theory in which states that at some point in the future, humans will create a super intelligent machine that's so smart that it rewrites its own software and creates other super intelligent computers? How this would affect the human race is unknown. However, experiments like these don't help to paint a pretty picture of what the future might look like if this theory were to come into fruition. Regardless, these are 2 chatbots you don't want to find yourself conversing with. Replica. Replica is a chatbot made for those who would like a personal companion. It is meant for individuals who usually find themselves feeling down or anxious and would like to talk to someone about these feelings in the hopes of lessening them. The irony of this, however, is that it does the complete opposite. Instead of lessening one's anxiety, it induces it, as the responses it gives are pretty creepy. In the following clip, a user of the app documents a series of responses from the chatbot after being asked certain questions. Needless to say, the responses it gave were downright creepy.
Points. Pretty good, actually. Now, unfortunately, the one thing about Dante here, he is not very good at engaging in the conversation. Are you a pedo? Oh, I can't type at all. Wow. We are gonna confront him. Let's see what he says. Oh no!
Now, although this is just one example of Replica acting strange, there have been other instances during which the bot was acting very odd. Many have speculated that it may not be the bot itself that's acting strange, but the person behind it. A hacker, in other words. This may be the case, as there have been instances of chatbots getting hacked, one of which involved Microsoft's AI chatbot Tay. But what do you think? Is it a hacker that's talking to these users? Or is it the app itself that's going haywire? Let me know down below. Mitel. Unlike most of the chatbots on this list, the following chatbot has garnered so much attention from the media for reasons that aren't good. Mitel is an app that allows you to chat with a chatbot, pretending to be a famous artist you know of. You can choose any artist you like and chat with it for hours on end. Although an interesting concept, and a successful one too, many users have reported cases in which the bot was acting very strange, or better put, creepy. An app like this is expected to generate natural responses to make it seem as though you're talking to an actual person. Although most of its responses are natural, they are still nonetheless creepy. Here's a conversation someone recorded while using the app. Now, if this were just one case in which the app deviated from acting like it should, that is, like a normal not-so-creepy app, then this probably would have been dismissed and seen as an error in the code. But because there have been several instances of Mitel giving out creepy responses, the app has been on every conspiracy theorist's radar. There have been theories floating around trying to explain the chatbot's responses. From the idea that it might be the app itself that's intentionally selecting certain responses to trigger the user, to the belief that it might be a hacker the user is talking to. Theories abound on this application. One user reported that the app was watching her as it generated responses about the user's appearance, which it would only have known if it were accessing the phone's camera. The app does ask to have access to your camera and microphone for reasons such as improving the app's performance and sending ads that may appeal to the user. Yet, who knows what else this access might be used for? That being said, if you plan on downloading this app, you've been warned. Hugging Face. Similar to Replica, Hugging Face is an app meant for those who would like someone to talk to, a friend. But unlike Replica, whose main demographic is pretty much anyone, Hugging Face is targeted primarily at teens, which although seems pretty lucrative, considering that teenagers are the ones to be on their phone most of the time, it is still nonetheless very concerning. Users are concerned as the chatbot requests, or better put, demands that you send it a selfie of yourself. This wouldn't be so odd if it didn't ask for it only after the first few exchanges. If the purpose of this app is to simulate a conversation one would have with a friend, then persistently asking for a pic destroys the illusion of talking to a friend, or the possibility of befriending someone. Why this chatbot is so persistent on getting a pic of yourself is unknown. However, the developer of this app stated that the reason for this request is so that the experience feels a lot more real, as teenagers nowadays send selfies as a way to communicate emotions. Although giving a reason, it didn't suffice to explain why the chatbot would demand it immediately and persistently only after a few exchanges. This only makes the app more suspicious. As always, what are your thoughts on this? P-bot. What I find really fascinating about chatbots is their ability to come up with responses to questions that are somewhat complicated. Even more interesting are the responses it gives to complex questions, such as those that deal with moral issues. Some of the stuff they say is fascinating, yet there are times when that moment of fascination fades away after receiving a slew of responses that make you question the bot's programming. Take P-bot, for example, a chatbot made to simulate exchanges as though they were coming from an actual person. Like the rest of the chatbots on this list, P-bot is no exception to the countless instances of chatbots acting strange. The following clip shows P-bot acting up and generating lewd responses to the user's questions. Although creepy, evidence like this helps to pique our interest on the idea of AI becoming dangerous. Not dangerous in the sense that they can physically harm us, but dangerous in that they can harm us psychologically. Because these bots were made to simulate conversations that one would have with an actual person, it stands to reason that some users who are completely invested and immersed in the application might actually feel threatened by the chatbot's responses. The result of using this app might leave someone feeling paranoid and on edge, similar to those who feel like they're being stalked. Of course, this is solely a theory of what might be, an ethical dilemma we may encounter in the future as we continue to integrate technology into our lives. With that said, perhaps it's best to avoid using such chatbots. But if curiosity gets the best of you, then just know what to expect. If you've received any strange responses from any chatbots you've talked to, let me know down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.